everyone, and welcome to the first ever episode of Interview with a Fangirl. I'm your host / kitty, Katie. Well, apparently I've become pretty well known in that guy with the glasses fandom, mainly because of this picture. And since then, my love for everything Channel Awesome has become practically iconic. Nowhere is this passion more visible than when it comes to my first ever guest. Please welcome, most of you can play this, and my personal favorite contributor and idol, JewWario. Now, J-Dub and viewers, I should explain one thing about this show. Though I do ask normal questions on here, normal being the operative word because I am not normal, my status in notoriety as a fangirl, particularly when it comes to him, does demand some questions that are, well, I'll use my favorite adjective to describe myself. Silly. You up for it?
Sure.
Alright. First question. Favorite or weirdest fan moment, and don't just say something about me to boost my ego. If it's about me, it's fine. Just don't say it. Just don't say it to say it.
Okay. Fan coming to my door, actually, and yeah, I was editing an episode, and a fan came to my door and gave me a little statuette that she made.
So cute.
Yeah, I still got it, and it was it wasn't even creepy. It was just a lot of fun, and it was really nice.
It kind of reminds me of that time my friend walked into that store you work at, just randomly. I was actually the one that told her where to go.
Yeah.
The rarest game you own.
Probably the Super Famicom version of Back to the Future Part 2.
Where did the kitty squeak come from?
Actually, that was... I was looking for something funny for the show. There was an episode that I did where it had a Maneki Neko on the door, and I explained what a Maneki Neko was, and we had just gotten a cute little cat, a cute little Maneki Neko, and I thought it was cute, so I squeaked a little bit. And it was actually Cold Guy who kind of made that a meme. I didn't even intend for it to be, and I didn't particularly actually want it to be, and people started liking that, and so it just kind of stuck. Yeah,
like, I know you said on your streams that you actually, ironically, have an allergy.
Oh yeah, and you know, I'm not a big cat person, not a big animal person, but yeah, it's fun nonetheless to pretend and stuff.
You better believe it. You seem to love dressing up. I mean, there's Jareth, Yankee J, Mario, and then there's those photos of you on Facebook that everybody knows about. What is your favorite costume or alter ego?
Yankee J. I really like cosplaying as him, and and then I would say second the new Famicom Rider. But yeah, Yankee J, he's gonna have a place in my heart for a
That suit is awesome. Just so you know, that suit is awesome. One memorable night, you and a couple other contributors found the site where all the Tig Would Tig fan fiction is. Other contributors, I'm not gonna drop names, but they've come out and said that they're kind of weirded out by the whole thing, but you're one of the only ones that said that you've actually embraced it. Why is that?
Because it shows that people, you know, have passion about, you know, what I do, and I'm here to make people happy. I'm not afraid of, you know, people stalking me. You know, I'm not. And I'm not afraid of, you know, doing things like, you know, reading fan fiction or anything. It's the way that somebody shows that they care, and some people draw, some people write, and I like, you know, the people who write too, just as much as I like the creepy drawings I sometimes get. But you know, I just want to show everybody that no, it's okay.
Any game that you thought was there any game that you thought was never going to be a you can play this, but after you looked at it again, you thought, hey, maybe this will work?
Yeah, actually a couple, but I'll only name one. Super Robot Tyson. The Super Robot Tyson series has a lot of RPG to it. And so I just said I would never do it because I don't do Japanese RPGs. They're just way too complicated and you need to know information. However, it's not a sandbox. It's very linear. So if you just hammer on the conversation button and let them have their conversation, there's very few choices that you have to do something. Even then, it only affects certain elements of the game. It doesn't affect, for a storyline that you're not paying attention to anyways, it's fine. So you don't need to worry about that, and so it's okay.
If you had a TARDIS, where would you go? Past, present, future, other planets, wherever?
Probably other planets, and since the TARDIS allows you to breathe within its confines, even with the doors open, I'd probably look around at other planets and see things like that. But for time, I actually wish I could go back in time and find out realistic things. People say, "Oh, this happened, this happened, this happened. This is what this person believes," and I'd like to just go back and say, "Yo, Jesus, how's it going? So what did you mean by this?" so.
This question comes from my best friend Rachel, who you may know because you raged about River's song against her. Why Wario?
Why Wario? He's an underdog, and I like the underdog. I think that the hero is they're usually too perfect, and the underdog, they have problems with them themselves. I have problems with them myself, and I relate more, and they become the bad boy, and I've never been the bad boy. Probably also why I like the Yankee J character, because he allows me to bring out the underdog. And with being the Wario, whenever I play Mario, any Mario game that has Wario in it, I always play him. He's brave, he's brash, he's bold, and he just doesn't care. And I'm not like that. But I respect those qualities. And so.
Yeah, every time I play a Mario game that has Wario in it with my friends, they're always like, "Don't take Wario or Katie will kill you." Favorite game you've reviewed?
Poppin' music. We're at MagFest right now, and there's a couple of Poppin' music consoles down there, and I'm really enjoying it. And it's just one of my favorite games.
Most fun review to make?
Most fun to make. I'd probably say
Labyrinth.
I enjoyed the Labyrinth one, but I would probably have to say that my Back to the Future, Super Back to the Future was, because I got to work with Doug. I got to. This was my first time actually setting up for a storyline, and so I actually mixed storyline into. That wouldn't happen for another 3 months into a review, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I have a friend that's absolutely obsessed with Back to the Future, and he posted a status on Facebook. Wait a minute, there's a Back to the Future game that only came out in Japan, and I'm just like, what? Hardest review to make?
Hardest review to make? Monster Hunter. That was a monster. It was a tough one because it came out in 9 parts, and each one was long. And usually my reviews are less than 10 minutes, so usually it only takes me a couple of days to finish them. This took a couple of weeks, and I had to do a lot of preparation for it, and that was really difficult.
I remember on one of the streams, I had to log off my computer to go to bed, but I turned on my phone and I went back to the stream on my phone and plugged in my headphones. And I guess I lost track of time because I woke up in the morning and my earbuds were tangled around me. My phone was on the other end and it was dead. So by process of elimination, I figured out I fell asleep listening to the stream.
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
Game you own that was the hardest to import?
The hardest to import. The problem is that I try and do games that are fairly easy. Now, sometimes they can be hard to find. And I would actually, with that one, say Umihara Kawase, which is actually my second review. All the other games I could find fairly easily, but this one I actually asked one of the owners of a video game website that sells video games from Japan to actually look for it for me, and they found it. So that took some time. But yeah, that I would say Umihara Kawase.
What's your favorite game that's not necessarily a you can play this?
No, I don't really have one. I try and show all. If I've got a favorite game, I want to show it on YouTube. So yeah, there's really not too many, because if they're too difficult, I don't play them.
What was the first video game you ever played?
First video game I ever played. Boy, I don't know, because we're going back into the 70s for that one. Might say Pitfall, but my memory goes back a ways. When I was a little kid, my mom had enrolled me into judo, and after judo, my then big brother from the Big Brothers Club, because if you don't have a dad, they big brother, he took me to a bar in Boulder called Bananas. I don't know if it's still there or not. And they had the tabletop consoles, and it was, and they had Mario. It was Donkey Kong, and I would probably say that's the first one that I remember actually playing, because they'd give me like $1 in quarters to go play. And I would say that Donkey Kong would probably be the first console, cabinet I played. So.
Mine was Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix on DS. I played that game incessantly. I would bring it on the bus every day. I beat it like 5 times. And even though I beat it, I'm just like, it's the only game that I'm really good at. So it's all I played, because it was the only one I was ever really good at. Except for Sims 3 for the DS, which is kind of boring.
There's only 6 seconds left.
Thank you!